Hello all. Live interview with Cobra Immortal, and we'll start things off by introducing Cobra Immortal. You are coming from New York, correct?
No, sir, I come from Crystal City, Missouri.
Okay, Crystal City, Missouri. Okay, Crystal City, Missouri. I thought you were in New York. Honestly.
No, sir.
Okay. Alright, so Crystal, Missouri. Okay.
Crystal City.
Crystal City, Missouri. I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronunciation.
It's okay.
Okay.
So we gonna start all over again, or is this live?
Yes, we are going to start all over.
Okay.
I apologize for that, everyone. But we didn't have a clear take at all. We had connection issues and a bunch of other things. So we are live again. Apologize again for the interruption in your daily lives. Alright. So, we're going to start things off with... Actually, we're going to go in a different order this time because of the fact we're starting over. So, what do you know about the hip-hop culture, and what do you think the culture is like now, and how is it represented?
I still think like the hip hop culture is more of it's changed so dramatically, over the last years, throughout the years, I should say. It's kind of like where it all started with, out on the East Coast in New York, when hip hop started out there. And then you had the West Coast when the rap, was coming out from that area. And then the South, really started booming at that time. It's kind of like, those were like, I felt like the much more better days that we had in music at that time. I feel like it was more, we can enjoy it a lot better than now. It's all, where it's headed. It's like, I feel like it's headed for doom, really. I feel like if it doesn't change because it all sounds the same, people are going to still continue to keep going with that same formula.
Yeah.
If they feel that it's working, they're going to keep using that formula. And I feel that if we don't save music now, it's going to be destroyed.
Well, yeah, you had spoke about how the fact that you think that everybody is putting out, like, recycled garbage for music.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like, it really sounds all the same, really.
Yeah, and until you go into the until you go into the underground side of things. Once you're in underground, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, it's like the music is so much better on the underground.
Yeah, because mainstream is basically, they're all on the same topic. They all want, it's all talking about drugs, degrading women, partying, and money.
Yep, that's it.
And
that's it.
Honestly, and I feel this way too, I don't know how any other artists feel the same way, but I feel like that when it comes to music nowadays, it's just artists in the mainstream just putting their music or their words to a beat, and sometimes it doesn't even have to make sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of them now where they feel like that they can ride the beat.
Yeah.
They feel that they don't have to use a lot of, use their wide vocabulary of words. They say a couple words, they stop and they let that beat ride.
Yeah.
So they try to ride the beat to make up for their lack of lyrical content.
Yeah, the wordplay is not the same as it used to be. And like I said, if the legends seen what they seen today, they'd be a little bit upset.
See, the legends are fighting back. The legends are fed up with, because they sense and they feel where music is headed. You know what I'm saying? Just like I did. It's kind of like I seen we were already fighting the battle, but I seen the war coming. You know, it's us versus the mainstream now, because everybody done realized that if we don't fight back to take back what we feel is ours, if we just sit back and let them continue to keep building and building, when they keep building, it hurts the independent artist that's out there, because a lot of that money is not trickling down to us out there. You know what I'm saying? Because we come from the streets. You know, where I'm from, I come from the streets. I was able to see music at a time where it was changing. It was all about it was the lifestyle. Now it's all about based on the image. That's how it was. It started out as a lifestyle, and now it's based upon an image. And I feel that the legends are fighting back because they can sense the demise of music and where it's headed. Especially, you know, music started changing when the internet. Once the internet came in, it really changed the game. It changed how people bought music, because now people can buy it from, you know, from their phone, or they can, you know, they can listen to it on YouTube, or, you know, or wherever, Spotify. You know, they have access to it now. It's good for the consumer, but it hurts the artist, you know, because a lot of us aren't getting proper credit for what we put out.
Yeah, for sure. In your music career, have you done any sort of traveling, would you say?
Yes, I've been traveling really about since 2014. Really, I take it a step further than that. From 2010 on up to now, I've done a lot of shows. I've done shows in St. Louis. I've been to California. I was on the radio station there promoting my album Smash 'Em All, which I am right now, which is available for physical purchase, physical CD purchase. International shipping is available. We've sold units in Australia and other places around the world. So I just kind of feel like that the time is now, and, you know, continue to keep on working and stuff like that. And what was that? What was the other part of that question too? Because I want to make sure that
it just says, have you traveled in your music career at all? If so, where?
Oh, okay, yes. Yes, I've been to New York. I opened up for Mr. Cheeks in Bridgeport, Connecticut. I went to, in January of this year, I was at the Okeechobee Music Festival. It's like a competition in St. Petersburg, Florida. Did a show there at the State Theater, which was a real nice theater. I've been to Texas to get the film videos. I got a video on YouTube that was filmed in Texas. Who Do You Trust? That was filmed by Elite Empire Media. I've done shows in Topeka, Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. I'm working on shows right now: Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, and just really anywhere where we can go. I've learned that over the last few years. I mean, I've been doing shows and, you know, traveling and things like that for the last few years, and it's the reception of the people when they embrace you. Because the first time I went to New York, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was gonna, you know, get booed or not. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, it's a tough market out there. But after I seen how they embraced me, I got mad love for New York. I got mad love. I got mad love for the East Coast because they show a lot of love. And we did 2 shows out there back to back. You know, the atmosphere was live, you know, and all of that. And so yeah, so I've been through a lot of places, all the places I named, and I'm working on shows in, you know, different parts of the West Coast, the East Coast, down south, and just continue to grow my fan base and keep putting out music.
For sure, man. All right. Do your kids look up to you and say, "I want to be like that"? Would you say?
Well, my with my children, it's kind of, it's a different, you know, situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like yes, I could say it's a pretty tough situation with me and them, but they know what I do. They see what I'm doing, and I know that they recognize who I am, and you know, I know that they're pulling for me and all of that. So, yeah, so I know that they're watching, and I'm watching as well. So I know they're seeing me do what I do.
Okay, I got you. That's a good answer. All right. Yeah, I like that answer actually a lot.
Right on.
Yeah, it's for music, everybody seems, it's a lot of people seem to think, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but a few people have a hard time getting the support from family and whatnot.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, man, because, like, you know, I went from a lot of the jobs that I used to work, I just felt like that it was something that I didn't really want to do. Not to say that I wasn't a great worker at what I was doing, but I just felt like it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I felt like that I had more to offer in this world, or to this world, I should say. And I felt like there was something that I can always do more.
Yeah.
And I worked at it, and I worked at it, and I worked at it, and then a lot of people felt that I was getting stronger, so that's when they trying to put up these roadblocks in front of me, because they was mad. They were mad at me because I was starting to gain momentum, because they thought that I couldn't do it. You know, they didn't think that I was going to make it. They didn't think that I had the skill level in order to do it, because I guess they don't think that I fit the stereotype of what a rapper is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And where I'm from, you know, you're not really taught to dream. You're taught to follow suit. You're taught to follow the typical protocol. Because where I'm from, not too many people like me make it out. Wow. And it becomes more of an abyss for entrapment. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like you just got a lot of people that want to see you fail, man. You got a lot of people that they want to be a part of your progress, but not of the process. Because people only want to ride with you when the sun is shining.
Yeah.
But they don't want to ride with you when the skies are cloudy and gray. When those days of, you know, it's cold outside, we in the car and we ain't got money to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people, they don't never ask about the struggle. They don't never ask about the struggle, man. It's all about being beneficial. And when you start doing your own thing, you become a black sheep. You know what I'm saying? You're labeled as an outcast. Because me as an artist, I had to learn to take so much criticism from every level, man. It's I always tell people, man, I'm inspired by the music, but not by the business. The business part of it is, you know, it's all about politics, and it's just so much stuff that you got to go through as an artist, man, because you always going to be tested by somebody. I've had a lot of encounters, what I'm saying, with a lot of different people on there, through social media or even in person, whether it was artists or booking agents or whatever. It's always somebody that's trying to get at you. But not only that, a lot of them tried to blackball me. A lot of those people tried to blackball my image to keep Cobra Immortal out of the game. And that's what a lot of them did. They tried to defamate my character, whether it was people in my family or people in the music industry itself. They try to blackball me. They try to get me to engage in a lot of negativity, because I'll never say that I'm the best. I always say that I want to be known as one of the greats. And when you start, being your own person and standing up for what you want to do and what you believe in, that's when you become a target. You become an outcast. And, where I'm from, that's how it is. When you don't follow protocol, they look at you different. But in retrospect, they never ask you about the struggle. It's all about the hustle. The hustle is where the money comes in. But they don't know what all you got to do to put in it, money and time, to build your brand. And it's like, they don't want you to be more powerful than them. I mean, because I learned, and that's what keeps me going. I keep going because I know where my place is in music. I've developed a fan base. People, they know who I am.
Yeah.
I'm starting to grow each and every day. I mean, success takes years, and that's what you got to have. You got to have the diligence and the patience, to continue to keep, going harder and learning, how to get better and being a better performer. Because, once people feel and see that you're getting close to where you want to be, they're going to try to stop you. And your family is enemies that could be close to you that you may or may not know.
That's true. That's what I hear on this side of the music too. I hear that a lot.
It's kind of like, how I looked at it, man, is I have to learn what my vision is and what my goal is. You know what I'm saying? I gotta learn to keep playing my game. Because as an artist, I've went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? I've went through a lot. I've went through a lot of different challenges in it. Maybe, developing enemies from it, or, people may make threats on your life. They might try to do whatever, because success brings envy. It's not about making the millions of dollars, really. It's about, and that's where as we were, talking about earlier, where the direction of music is headed and what's the mainstream, what's their major topic on doing.
Yeah.
It's all about making money, because as long as it'll sell, because they're going to push it to where it sells. But that's all they're worried about. They're not worried about the quality or the message of the music anymore. So I just feel that we're just at a different place. But you go through so much as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Some places you gotta pay to perform. It's about making money and forgetting the talent. Nowadays it's 90% business, 10% talent, and it's just it could be a dangerous industry, man. Real talk. It's a cutthroat business at the end of the day. I mean, a lot of those people that you see that made it, they had to do certain things in order to make it, because they were being controlled by the powers that be. The powers that be, they run everything. They run everything in the sports. They run everything in the music industry, the movie industry, our government. Here in the United States, they're basically, the secret society is basically controlled. They control everything, and they pick and choose of who that they feel can bring in the most money, because it's just a trade for a trade. But a lot of times you see stuff on TV that's not real. It's really an illusion. It's all about the fantasy part of it. A lot of them ain't really living that way, because there's not a whole lot of money in the music industry like how it used to be. It's more of, it can be about the money, but you got to make sure that you can get those loyal fans and supporters that really, that go hard for you, because your fans, that's who really makes you. You know what I'm saying? I was reading a post the other day, and it was about an artist, a fan, that went to a concert and seen an artist that was one of their favorite artists, and they were a huge fan of it, and it was a mainstream artist, and, the way that he reacted to the fan, it's like, those are the things that really make us look bad, but they still can get the support because of who they are.
Yeah.
But we don't get that type of support because we're on the independent level.
Yeah. And that's what separates us from the mainstream. We're us versus the mainstream. We're not the same at all.
No, and it's really important that we all, we band together as one, because we're seeing the direction of where music is headed. And it's just all about supporting one another. When somebody drops a project, everybody buys that album.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, if it's all a big team of people, no matter who drops a project, you buy that product.
Yeah.
Whether you buy it off of iTunes or you buy a physical CD, you buy that product, because that's how it's supposed to be. And then the more money that is spread around, because you can have a clique of 5 to 10 people, and each person have their own following, but everybody is getting acquainted with the other rappers or the other artists within that clique or whatever's happening, because that's how it was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of groups out there that made solo stars, but everybody still recognized them from that main group, because everybody supported everybody. And if it's a big clique of people, everybody needs to buy everybody's products when they come out.
Okay. And okay, so, and how would you say, Cobra Immortal, you came up with your name? And who are your main influences?
How I came up with my name was, it took me years of, to come up with a name that I felt that suited me the best. And when I came up with Cobra Immortal, it was like, it has a definitely, a huge, significance, or the meaning behind the name. Cobra is the pain, the hugger, the rage, the determination, the diligence, the will to win, the never say die attitude, that I will strike, the fire, that's the Cobra side of it, the hustle, the things that I seen in my lifetime, on my years of this, being existent on this earth. And my influences, were a lot of the greats, from back then. Immortal means, for the fans that supported me while I was on earth, and even if, years down the road, when we transfer to the next life, the fans of that generation will continue to say my name and remember my name, and because my legacy will live through them, because they were my supporters. So even when I go beyond the galaxy, my immortal means that forever living.
Yeah.
So people will remember my name and carry my legacy on through them, even when I'm gone.
Yeah, that's well said. I like that a lot, actually. Alright. Let's go to the next question. So, we were talking a bit about how the music industry is seems to be like controlled and stuff like that. In terms of the next generation of artists, what advice would you provide for those artists? Because they're pretty much, if they don't have any advice to go by, they're going in blind.
Right.
In my opinion.
I think the one thing is staying true to yourself. I mean, educate yourself about the business, research, learn how to, perfect your craft, come out with, quality music, build your brand, build your image, being smart, watching out for a lot of scam artists out there, and just be you, be original. And that's what it's going to take. And like I said, learn the business, do your homework on that, and just realize that you can't trust everybody. It's a cutthroat business, and you just got to learn to train yourself on what to look for and what not to look for.
And not also keep in mind, be professional, because this is not just willy-nilly just sit up there and say, oh, I can rap and all whatnot. There's a professional side to everything, or for things like this.
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely you hit the nail on the head. You definitely have to be professional. You have to have that marketable image. You have to be precise on everything that you do. You have to be on time. You have to really show them that you mean what you say, that you really, really want to make it in this industry. You have to, be educated. You have to be courteous. You have to be on time. You got to be, everything's got to be on point, man. Like you said, that professionalism is what sells your brand.
Yeah.
That's when you meet a person, you always look them in the eye and you shake their hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you introduce yourself, because that introduction is a pivotal moment on what happens after that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you, in the world of business, because I'm also an entrepreneur, and I've learned and studied a lot about business. And the one thing that I learned about business is you have to be not only business minded, but you have to establish a relationship or connection with people in other businesses, in the world of business. It's all about, learning about as many industries as you can, when it comes to, marketing and promoting, like, your products. It can be like cups, or it can be T-shirts, and learning how to run your business effectively, because the two basic principles of business of many, I should say there's a lot more, but I always go by these two, is marketing and promotion. Marketing and promotion is your key ingredients on how you market your music. And it's always, like I said, man, when you meet a person, you shake their hand, you look at them in the eye, and then that leads up to other things. That leads up to an audition. That leads up to endorsement deals. It's a lot of, you want your name to make you money. That's the goal. But with the right attitude and that professionalism behind you, it's going to go a long way.
For sure. And another question, how do you think the hip-hop culture started?
The hip-hop culture started, back in, the East Coast, like 70s era all the way to the 80s. I mean, back in those days, that's when you seen a lot of people, that's when they had the break dancing, they had the graffiti artists, and it was just a pivotal time in music. That's when radios were real big. That's when records were real big. And that's where it all started. Back then, it was all about the culture. It's like I was a fan of the music before I became an artist, and it was all about the culture. And then when hip-hop started on the East Coast, then rap came out on the West Coast, and it was and everybody back then was good. It was a lot of great talented artists back in those days, and so much different than what it is now. It's just not a whole lot of creativity in it to me. I just feel like it's not original. It's more everything's recycled.
And it is sad to see. All right. And what's your family's perspective on your music career? Like, do they support you?
I could honestly say no, man. I mean, it's sad for me to say that, but I went through a lot, being an artist, and I feel like I've never had my family's support. I felt like it was more of, a lot of them had that look in their eyes where they didn't want me to succeed, or they might have thought that I wasn't good enough in order to make it. Because I remember one time I heard some family members talking when I walked in the house, and they were like, they said, Matt's not going to make it. And then they laughed about it. And when I heard them laugh about it, and I looked at them, that's when the fire was lit. I made sure nobody will laugh at CI ever again. That's the first and only time. And from that point on, that's when I became, it was all out. That's when I really, really started going hard, because nobody laughs at the king. That's blasphemy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and that gave me the fuel to my fire for me to go harder. And they never showed up at any of my shows except for, my father. He came to, one of my shows. He's kind of like the only one that really, that talks about it. Everybody else is, really not supportive of it, really. It's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of them have a vendetta against me personally because of the career path that I chose. I mean, I put my life on the line when I go to these different cities and states to do these shows. I mean, it's all a safety issue, and I just feel that if, once I make it, or whatever we perceive in our minds, or everybody's opinions on making it. I feel like making it is doing what you love and owning what you have, owning your work.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that that's making it. It's not about making the money. People are worried about how much money you're making, but they don't ever ask you about the hustle or the struggle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they want to be the calm before the storm, but they don't never ask about the struggle. And it's sad because in this music industry, like far as I'm by myself really. I walk the journey alone. Especially when it comes to my family. I have family that support me that's not related to me.
Mm.
I've been able to make a lot of connects through social media and, made some strong supporters. A lot of people have purchased my album, Smash 'Em All, which is available on CD. It's also available on iTunes. And I've made, customers. I made clients. I made supporters. I made fans. And people buy the music. They've also contributed to my campaign of what I want to do, because you have to have money to make money in this industry because of the way the dynamics of it is, because everything is changed and they're not seeing the real work that I'm putting into it. They've never really believed in me, that I could do something. Because in fact, where I'm from, you're not taught to dream. You know what I'm saying? You're not taught to dream. You're just taught to be a number and not a name. And once you break out of that and stand on your own 2 feet and believe what you believe in, you become an outcast. You become somebody that they can't identify with. And doing the music gave me power. They once they started seeing that I was gaining momentum, then they kind of started treating me a little bit different. But I've learned to keep people at a distance because for those who wasn't there with me during the struggle, I'm riding to different cities doing shows and stuff like that on when there's snow on the ground, when it's 100 degrees outside, or no matter, or it's raining, or I've been through a lot of elements, traveling and doing shows, and the people who wasn't there for me or with me during those times don't expect to be there with me when I'm really there.
No, that makes sense.
So it's a rough road, man. You gotta take what comes with it. You're gonna have a lot of people that won't support you because they're afraid of what you'll become. Since it's you, they won't support you. But it be somebody else that's not you, they'll support them. But I've learned to go a different route, and I'm still making my mark. You put a roadblock in front of me, it's a detour with me. I'm going a different way. You move one way, I move another way. And sometimes, I ran into a situation where, within my family, it was somebody that I showed the game to. You know what I'm saying? I seen their potential and all of that. And at the time, I was being the Obi-Wan. I was being the instructor and the teacher. And then once they felt that they had, a little bit of power, that's when everybody started changing. It's like the same person or the people that you show the game to, they'll turn around and try to use that game against you. And I ran into that. It was internal, and I had to put something out there to see what the outcome was going to be. I had to exercise that that demoness part of the game. I had to, you know, I had to put my magic out there to see, which is my music. I had to expose who this person really was, just to see what'll happen. And then it created an effect. It created a reaction. So that let me know that the game was real, and that let me know that even family or your friends can try to do you in.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any famous quotes that you, like, live by, would you say?
Yes, I do, actually. And let me pull it up here. Let me see. I have it earlier. Okay. It's definitely a quote that okay, it says, and this is quoted by Plato.
Mm-hmm.
Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Okay, and that was quoted by Plato, which is one of the most powerful minds of mankind. And how he felt about music at that time is the way that I've always felt about music. I felt that music is an art form, that it's a freedom of expression, and that's what I really like about it. I mean, it applies to me because I'm always thinking of a way to create, because I like to make my music more futuristic. I want to be 10 years ahead of everybody, and then when those 10 years come, then it's like I fall back. And then it's almost like it's being an innovator, going, putting all of your thought process in your craft and what it is that you do, because music is a universe, and it's a way to fly as well.
Very true. All right. Alrighty, so when would you say, like, what age did you actually begin doing music?
Doing rap music, I was probably in my early 20s, probably. I was always, rapping, different songs that I would hear during my teenage years, but I wasn't a rapper at that time. And then years after that, in my 20s, about 24, 25, I really started getting into music and learning, how to write songs and record songs. And I started going to the studio, 2001, 2002, recording our first songs there. And then over the years, just learned to get better doing shows and, building my brand and all of that. So really about 24, 25 years old, that's when I started doing music.
And how many years would you say you've been at it?
Oh man, I would probably say at least about 15 or 16 years. I mean, I've learned that success doesn't, happen overnight, but it's kind of like you get frustrated, but you can't be discouraged either, because whenever it's going to happen, it's going to be your time. It's more of just being, patient. There is no time limit on music. As long as you can think it, say it, and do it, the sky's the limit. So I would have to say, 15, 16 years of, performing, writing songs, and, and all that, releasing albums within the last 4 to 5 years. And that made me feel really good, knowing that I felt like I paid my dues to it. And, just because you don't see me on TV or getting awards or anything like that, or me doing songs with other artists, that does not mean that my place is not solidified into music. I feel like I got a place in music, and that's my main goal, is I know that I got a place in this industry.
Very well said. Alright, so do you have any questions for the host? Since I've been putting you on questions on you, now your turn, if you wish to do so.
Yeah, basically, like, when did you start doing your podcast show?
Okay. I've been doing radio stuff for about 2 years. The podcast side of things, I just recently started, basically. It's probably maybe almost close to a year I've been at it. Yeah.
And what about, like, as far as the music scene where you live at, and who are, like, the artists that in your community in Canada that everybody's talking about?
Well, it seems to be Drake. It seems to be Justin Bieber. That's really about it. No, it's not. There's also a group called Neon Dreams that a lot of people seem to be talking about too.
Okay,
Or a group you might not be familiar with, but you may be. I don't know.
Right.
Because but yeah, that's the Canada scene. There's also people in Halifax. When you go to Halifax, people talk about Quake Matthews.
Okay.
The guys worked with Royce the 5'9".
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely he's definitely got a name.
Yes, he does.
Okay, that's what's up then.
Yeah, he did a remix of okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, he's done a remix of Ed Sheeran's song, I See Fire. He's done his own version of it.
Okay.
So, yeah, he's making a few moves up in this area. He's, like I said, he's worked with Royce 5'9". He performed in Yarmouth, actually, at a bar I went to, and actually I shared the stage with this guy. I was actually freestyling that night. And he said, anybody from the audience want to go up and rap with him? And I said, I'll give it a shot. So I went up there. Mind you, I wasn't as good as because I'm not very good at freestyling, so I gave it my best try.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, you did it though.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. It takes a lot of heart.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so, I guess another question is like, what all do you do within the industry?
And within music myself, I'm a artist. I'm a songwriter. I'm a songwriter and also a spoken word artist, a rap artist, graphic design. I do some stuff of that, and I also post up my stuff on media. Like, I'm also a networker as well. I like to build business relationships with artists.
Right.
And my radio side of things, I also am a radio host, and podcast host.
Oh, okay.
And
all right.
And that all started thanks to a guy that approached me that before I was doing radio hosting and stuff like that, I was doing promoting. I was promoting other people's music. Because they promoted mine. So I did them a favor by promoting theirs as well. And at the time, I was called Time to Get Heard promo. Then the guy who approached me from the USA, 2 a.m., shout-outs to him, he is also now part of my radio team and podcast team. And he's the one who made me come up to doing this radio stuff, because at the time I was like, I don't know about this, man. I've never done this before. And he's like, give it a try. So he motivated me and put the push to try this out.
Right.
And then the promotion became the radio instead of just promoting people on Facebook and stuff like that or SoundCloud, and it became the radio.
Right.
And we still have promoting Facebook groups that you can promote your music on. We have 3 in the product right now that I run, and a bunch of other people.
Right.
If you want access to those groups, I can easily add you to them.
Okay, yes, I would like that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Other than that, that's kind of where it all started. I wanted to help other artists because they promoted my music, and I wanted to promote their music. And and then Time to Get Heard was born, which is is just Time to Get Heard mixtapes. I did a bunch of mixtapes at the beginning of Nonprofit to promote underground artists, and I still do that, and that's where the Time to Get Heard stayed. And then we switched over the name to FLOWFLYIR Radio and Podcast, because I wanted more of a name that suited me. Not just all of my team members, but also suited, it was named after my initial name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so where all could we find all of your music at?
You can find me on SoundCloud. You can find me on YouTube, Reverb Nation. You can also find me. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have a YouTube channel for my radio side of things and podcast, and I also have a channel for my own music. And that's about it. I'm not on iTunes right now. I am not on Spotify. Any other site that's free to upload music, like Coast to Coast mixtapes, I'm on there. I'm on Bandcamp. Not Bandcamp, no. Dad Piff. Sorry. It's a mixtape site. Not Bandcamp. I was trying to get on Bandcamp once, but I didn't stay there. So, but yeah, I'm on a few different sites. Like I said, it's hard to list them all, but if you search up the name FLOWFLYIR in the spelling that I spell it in, a bunch of links will pop up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of stuff going on, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Currently right now working on my first album. That's a work in progress right now. My studio is being renovated, so I'm temporarily in my bedroom for doing radio interviews or podcast interviews. I have to be done in my bedroom or recording until my studio is all set up.
Okay, so you're definitely building a studio strictly for your your radio podcast.
Radio, podcast, and recording my own music.
Yes, good.
Yeah. It's a home studio, but still, it still do the job.
Yes.
In terms of that, other than that, working on a cipher with a bunch of other artists from around the world. Working with a guy from some of the artists that are from different spots, like an artist from Florida. Can't remember all the other artists, but they're all USA, mostly. But still, I'm really enjoying this project that we're putting together. It's called The Age of Tech, Part 2, and it's a cipher, and it's taking it's all about technology and how it's being like science fiction is playing a big role in what technology is being put into the world now. I think. I don't know if you agree with that or not, Cobra, but I think it is.
I believe it too.
Because we got so much advanced technology now that science fiction is literally looking more and more like reality.
Yes, it is. I totally agree.
So that's basically what the topic of that cipher is about. It's taking technology that's from the science fiction side of things and explaining how the fact that it's becoming reality once again, because it happened already once before, and it's just happening again.
I have an artist that I'm working with by the name of Voice Money, and he's got a song that's going to be released on his album next year called Liberation. And Voice Money is a singer, pop artist, R&B artist, and he's got a song called Technology that's going to be released on the album. And man, it has a lot of truth to what's going on. And like I said, it goes in contrast of what you were just saying about the technology of music. And he feels the same way like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also working on a project that I want to get started after this one. It's called Promoting Change. And it's all about looking at what in the world that we can change, but also looking at the fact that we need to change we have to look at ourselves before we go and change the world.
Right.
You can't change the world unless you look at yourself first.
That's true.
So that's what that angle that song is looking at. And after that, we have I'm the Dragon Cipher, which is going to be a bunch of bars associated with basically possibly speed, but also like wordplay, and it's a bit aggressive because we're also trying to get our point across at the same time of just rapping words. So got to put feeling into it, and that's the trick. That's always the trick with music. You can't just start rapping fast and say, "Oh, we feel this guy." No, he's just rapping fast.
Yeah.
It's skillful. I won't lie to you. Rapping fast is skillful. But if there's no meaning behind it, it's just words.
Right.
So, but other than that, I got I got college to go through, stuff like that. I'm trying to become a guy that helps out or a person that helps out other people, and do music on the side as a side job for extra money.
Right.
And that's my plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Any other questions?
Said, no, brother. I think you answered them.
Okay. I
Yes,
will
sir.
also put out there that in the to my music path, it also has I've wrote my first anti-bullying song, and when I wrote it back when I was really young, starting into music, somebody commented on my YouTube channel before I got rid of it. This was before the new setup of YouTube came into play. And they said that it saved their life. They were going to commit suicide before I put out that song. Or before they heard that song.
Wow.
So, I saved their life, and plus they wanted to actually stand up to the bully that bullied them. So,
wow. Okay.
So, in lieu of that, that's why I have continued this musical path. I've been doing music for 5 years now, and I don't plan on ever stopping.
Right.
And like you explained to your name of being a legacy and whatnot, mine is a little different than that. Mine is FLOWFLYIR, which breaking it down means flow. Music is constantly flowing. Flyer, freedom to choose my own path.
Right.
And that could be any path that arises.
Right.
Yeah. But on the other side of things, I think the name, it also shows that I'm willing to go outside my comfort zone too, though. Like I said, I don't just rap. I do spoken word. I don't swear in my music, and I don't even rap fast. But I like to go explore different genres as well.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I would say would be the me as FLOWFLYIR. That would be the whole thing. To explain it in short.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we know the meaning behind the name.
Yeah. Kind of like how you had the meaning behind your name. I think it's good to share the other side of things too.
Yeah, that's kind of like that was one question that now that I thought about it that I wanted to ask but I didn't.
Ah. What was the
but,
name? What did my name mean, eh?
Yes.
It would have been a good. It was a good question if you. Yeah, for sure. That it was a good question.
We now we know, so now that's a name that we all gonna be familiar with.
Yeah. And used to be called, actually back in the day, used to be called Mr. K-Man. That changed because of a guy from India has the same name as me, or somewhere from another part of the world has the same name as me. So I was like, I don't want to be a copycat, so I changed my name.
Right.
And other than that, I'm not going to explain how FLOWFLYIR came about because that's a very complicated process. So we won't go there.
Okay.
Yeah. Not this interview, anyway. In a future interview, I'm sure we'll explore that. Or something.
Right.
Yeah. But, I'd say we're coming close on timing, so I appreciate you going, willing to do this interview, and, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, sir, FLOWFLYIR. I mean, I definitely appreciate it. Salute to all your listeners and following on your radio station. Salute to everybody in Canada. It was an honor and privilege to be a guest on your show, and I enjoyed it. And thank you so much. Like I said, congratulations on your endeavors. And also, you can find Cobra Immortal on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, purchase your album today. Smash them all. It's $10 plus shipping and handling. We also ship international as well. So support the boy. Working real hard. And like I said, it's United States love all day. So thank you for having me on your show, brother. And I appreciate it. And hopefully we can do it again real soon.
All right. And we're going to end off with actually one of Cobra Immortal's songs. Rise to Power.
All right. Salute. You can't stop my hustle, can't stop my shine. Work hard every day and I stay up on my grind.
We thank you all for tuning in. If you didn't share this live or didn't hear this live at the time, it will be on Facebook Live and it will be on YouTube.
I'm smart enough and I'm passed them up and I'm real clever, I'm slick. You can't outshine this bad stuff. I put my trust in nobody, y'all. Fake friends turn to enemies, I use them so strategically. My intentions are interventions, concealed through these scriptures. I speak less, do more actions, my words are adventures. I protect my reputation, I guard it with my life. I stay focused, keep an open mind and always do what's right. My enemies, they come to me, bait them in like a bishop. Obviously, that was taught to me when I researched the power book. To my enemies, no honesty, no generosity, follow me.
Once again, this has been an FRP interview with Cobra Immortal, with your host, FLOWFLYIR. FRP stands for Fly Radio and Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. And you can find Cobra Immortal's music on SoundCloud, YouTube. You can check out his Facebook page. Find him on Twitter, I believe, and Instagram. And Spotify and iTunes. And yeah, you can find him all over, basically. Just search up the name Cobra Immortal. And yeah. Also, make sure to check out Smash 'Em All, his album, and put in your donations for the Cobra Immortal campaign. Alright, well, you all have a good night, and thank you very much for tuning in. If you did not hear this interview, it will be on Facebook, and it will be on YouTube, and anywhere else I can post a live interview with Cobra Immortal. So thank you very much. Fly Radio and Podcast, we're out. Peace.